Hello, this is Simple SolidWorks. Today we're gonna touch on 5 different features. We're gonna do a linear pattern, a circular pattern, a mirror feature, a circular driven pattern, and a sketch driven pattern. So I've made these models here, pre-made them, just so we can go over these lessons a little bit faster and more efficient. So let's start off with the linear pattern. Linear pattern, you want to pick the first direction, then you want to pick the second direction. Then it says here features and faces. You know, what do you need to pattern? And it's asking you to pick something. So you pick these and you notice that it creates these a pattern. Now this could be changed. This doesn't have to be, it's manually inputted here and the amount that you want. If you don't want 5 and you want 4, you just take away 1, right? If you want more columns, you just add more columns here. But make sure that you always make sure that it falls into the confine, that it's going to actually make a pattern itself. Also, you can be you can skip instances. Like in other words, if you click on that skip instances box area, it's going to activate that option. And then once you see the purple dots, you can say, well, I don't want this one. I don't want that one. I don't want that one and this one. But then you want the rest, and you can confirm that it's going to create your pattern for you. So that's a very simple pattern to make. That's a linear pattern. Now we're going to try to do the circular pattern, like a bearing of some sort. This could be a little tricky because it tends to want to, it gets kind of, there's a body and there's another part here, and it gives you some errors, but let's see if we can push through that. The first direction that is asking you needs an access point. So if you click on this access point, now it's asking you to pick a feature. Now, I know for a fact that it's going to probably yell at me. So because it's not a feature, it's a feature that's embedded in here, so it's going to probably yell at me. But I'm going to click on it, and you can see it gives you a preview of it. But even though it gives you a preview that is being made, it might give you that error. You see, rebuild errors. So it doesn't quite like that. So you want to clear the selection, go to the body section, pick on that box that says bodies. Pick on the selection again. Now it gives you the same preview, but this time it's going to make the part for you. So if you ever run into that in SolidWorks, it could be that it doesn't like, if there's something in the structure of the file or the part that you're trying to create that pattern that doesn't quite jive. So don't freak out. Just look for the other options within it. Again, I've always tell people that are learning SolidWorks that SolidWorks has a ton of options all over this command, right? This feature, and certain things need to be worked through in order for you to get what you want. So there's that circular pattern. So the next one we're going to do is a mirror feature. This could be done if you have 2 parts, right? You have one feature here. This is an extrusion on top of another extrusion, right? So you want to mirror this on the other side. So in order for that to happen, you have to have a plane for it to mirror across. So right now there's no plane in here. So you have to go to reference geometry right up here. You click on that and you click on plane, right? So what I like to do is I always like to put it right then in the center if I'm going to mirror something that needs to be symmetrical on this side. So I pick on this face, I pick on the other face, and now I right click. Now I have a plane that's right dead smack on the center of this piece. So now I go ahead and do my mirror piece. Again, this might yell at you because it's embedded in this part. So if you pick on the body that you want to mirror and you see it highlighted, if it goes through, great. If it doesn't, just keep working on what options can make it happen. Don't freak out if it doesn't happen the first time. That's what I keep telling people about this program. You need to work your way through it. It's not the program is very intuitive. However, it does have its moments, and you have to, as a designer, you have to figure out what will make it work, right? What could possibly work? And you can see that you can play around with these planes. You don't have to be symmetrical. You can always take that plane and move it forward this way and get it these four over here a little bit kind of odd. But you know, it gives you an idea that you can actually create a mirror of that part. Later on in assembly, you can actually make mirrors assemblies, and that's a little bit more a little bit more complex, and I'll be touching that much later on in these lessons. Now we're going to do a curve-driven pattern. That's the pattern that you need to do around an irregular shape, and it needs to follow this irregular line going across here. So that's a little bit more complicated, but it still can be done. It's all it is you're going to create a sketch. I like to do it with a sketch first. I like to pick on this plane here, and then that's where my sketch plane is. I'm working on that plane now, right? I'm here on this plane. Um, and I'm active on that plane, and I like to pick on this edge here, and then I like to convert it, right? So I have a converted edge going across that follows it all the way around. And since I know I need to have a distance, you just don't put a hole in there and just make it go crazy. I like to offset that. So I take that, I click on it, and I say, well, I need you to offset it, reverse that, go inside and say, you know, I want you to go I want my pattern to follow that around like that. So you create that, and you have an edge where you can sort of have things going on, right? Then you can confirm that. Now you have something to work with. You have a sketch that's there. It might not be visible. So if you ever see a sketch that doesn't show up, but you want it to show up, just make sure you go to display or hide and show here and go to sketches, and you can then see your sketches. You'll see it right there. So that's, again, if you ever run into that, you want to see your sketches, go to hide and show, go to sketches, and then activate it, and they'll show it for you. So then I want to do my cut, what I need, right? So I go to sketch, I'm going to make a feature, cut, I pick on this, I then make a circle, I place it somewhere around here, then I take that circle, and then I'm gonna make it coincident to that. Then I'm going to give it a nice dimension. Just like that. I'm going to say 0.5. Sorry, 0.5. So that's there, and it's going to be blue. That's okay, because you really don't, you're constraining it across here when you do the pattern itself. So then you confirm that. It's going to create the cut for you, and you confirm that, and now you have a cut. So you have this cut here, and now you're going to do your line pattern. So you click on the curve driven pattern. It's going to ask you for the direction, and then you're going to pick the feature, and it's going to follow that path. Now there's certain options here that you could play around with. Like if you go transform the curve, it sort of gives it like outside of it, and you say offset the curve. It's like, again, you're going to have to play with that. You're going to have to look at it and see what is it doing when you pick those options. Like I like to look at it from here and go transform curve. What is that doing? I don't see any difference, right? But then if you need to, you could keep playing around with it. Well, what about this? What does that mean? Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Like I've always play around with it, but again, it's one of those things that you're just gonna have to experiment with SolidWorks, because SolidWorks it has a lot of options, right? And again, you still do the skip instances as well. If you don't want them all, you can still pick the ones you want. So once you have that, you confirm it, and it creates a pattern that goes all the way around just the way you want it. Now, excuse me, the last one we're going to do is a curve-driven pattern. I'm sorry, a sketch-driven pattern, and that's going to be over here. So let's say, for instance, you create a extruded cut, and you place it here. and you create your circle, your initial circle, but then you're gonna add a couple more points. You're gonna put points sort of randomly here. I'm just playing around with this, so just give you an idea. And then you start to create a dimension. You create this dimension from here to here. So just to tie it up, let's just for the sake of me being a design engineer that sort of needs to have things tied together. I can't help myself. I try to be like, well, just do it sloppy Joe, but it just gets the best of me. So then at this point here, you can add, you know what, I wanna add a, let's see what kind of dimension. I want to add a ornament dimension, right? So I'm going to start off with horizontal, right? Horizontal. So I pick here. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't do that. Meant to do that. Horizontal. I'll pick it here. Okay. Let's do that very carefully. And pick here, 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 here. And I have my other dimension, vertical. Here, 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 here. So those dots are sort of tied together, right? They're sort of tied, and you just confirm that. So now you just have your extrusion cut. You have your sketch already pre-made, right? You know where you want those next patterns to go. So what you do now is you click on this item here. You sketch different pattern. It's going to You're going to dig here for the sketch itself. So you dig in there and you find that sketch. And once you dig for the sketch on the model tree here, on this side of it, right? And you click on that sketch that you made, it's going to put those patterns into those specific dimensions that you have. This is good for if you have that type of shop that needs to have these places, these dots laid out all over the place, or these holes made with machining and proper ornament dimensions. So this is very helpful. And once you have your pattern done that way, you confirm it, and voila, you have your holes. So these patterns could be, you can manipulate them however you need it to be. Um, there's there's more patterns here. There's these here, these fill patterns, which we'll touch in the next video because I have to go through these table driven and the fill pattern and variable pattern. These are all table driven, and it takes a little bit more time. But with this here, you can pretty much do what most industry are required. I've never worked further than what I have here. But you know, if I'm going to teach, then I'll rather teach you the other components and the other pattern making styles in the next video. If you have any comments or you want to learn or you don't like what you saw or you have other things you would like to input, just let me know. So I'll be making another video coming up in a couple of days. So keep out and look out for that. Just subscribe, please, and you know, and keep watching the videos. I'll get further up as I get more and more experience with this. Not with SolidWorks, but with making videos. I'll be more. It make more sense for me. This is a new learning curve for me, and I'm hoping that as I learn how to make videos and bring more information to you guys at a more clearer sense, it'll get better for you guys. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. And good luck with this. This is this is a lot of fun. So